Okay, I am live. Okay, hi. I am live, and I know this is very last minute. I'm going to do a few of these today, so if you missed this one, no problem. I'm going to be on a couple times for about 10 to 15 minutes. And in this one, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why the No Conflict Family Meeting is so important, a family meeting is so important. And as you can tell, I'm promoting my Parenting You First online community, and the closing of the first group of parents coming is tomorrow night at midnight, and the start date is on Sunday for a welcome event that's for parents who have signed up, and they get 2 free weeks, and the focus is going to be about the No Conflict Family Meeting. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that right now. If you want to get on, you have to do something with eCam on your end, but also you can ask questions in the feed. I can see the feed as well. And I'm thinking that I'm live. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to just go through this because I'm just really learning how to do this new platform. Okay. What is a No Conflict Family Meeting? A No Conflict Family Meeting is basically a structured, scheduled commitment to connection and creative problem solving, collaborative problem solving with your child. It is the most important meeting of your day, if not your week. It is something that you commit to, and it is as serious as talking to the most important person in your professional life. You are in charge of the meeting because you're the parent, and so the thing about family meetings is that there's one goal, and that is to have a meeting there when there's no reactivity. If there's reactivity, no problem. You take a pause and you take a break, and then you come back, circle back, and have a successful family meeting. Okay, here are the 10 things I want you to know about family meetings and why they're so important. And I have like 100, but these are just 10 I just pulled just now. 1, they're for all ages. Doesn't matter how old your children are, whether they're 3 years old, maybe not 2. You can maybe do it for a 2-year-old, but 3 years old to 60 years old. And it doesn't matter how old your child is. You can start having a family meeting because it is a structured, scheduled, serious commitment to your child where there's no conflict. So just keep remembering that. Structured, scheduled, no conflict meeting. And who doesn't want that? The other thing about family meetings, too, is that they are short because they have to be successful. So the thing that gets in the way of successful family meetings is that parents react, or the child reacts, and that the parents react some more, and so they devolve into a power struggle where the child feels like they're being lectured, and as I wrote yesterday, parents feel like it's a venting session for them. They get to unleash and unload all their frustrations onto their child, and the child's sitting there like, So when that happens, the child remembers that, even if it just happens once, and they don't want to go to another family meeting. So maybe you've had family meetings that haven't been successful because there's been some reactivity there. And so really noticing your reactivity is sort of the deeper work of the family meeting for the parent. The goal is the family meeting is successful because there's none of that. And when that happens, and it always does, the parent has the leadership capacity to say, time out, I need to take a break, and then circles back. They're short. They're really no more than 20 minutes long. They're not venting sessions. They are 15 to 20 minutes max. The majority of the family meeting is about connection, listening, and validating, and the last part of the family meeting is about collaborative problem solving. The third thing about a family meeting that is so important is how the parent and child learns how to talk to each other and listen to each other in a structured way. So when you have a family meeting, when when you have a family meeting, you are literally, if you want to, this is up to you, passing a stone back and forth, right? And you're actively listening. So even if you don't agree, you're hearing what your child is saying. And even if your child doesn't agree with you, he or she's hearing what you're saying. For the parent, you're in leadership. This is number 4. For the parent, you're in leadership. You're in charge. You set the schedule. You set the meeting. You set the tone of the meeting, right? So you're practicing listening to your child. And when you practice listening to your child, you are literally telling your child that what you're hearing them say to you. Like, I think I'm hearing you say this. There's no judgment and there's no reactivity, right? You're just listening to what your child is saying. That's connection. So listening skills are handed down. So when you are a good listener, your child becomes a better listener. The family meeting, as I said, 5, this is the 5th reason why family meetings are so important. Children need to connect to their parents, and parents need to connect to their children. And we live this crazy, busy, chaotic life where we don't really find quality time. So creating quality time in a family meeting for the smallest of issues to the biggest of issues, or just to connect, is how we ground ourselves as a family, how we anchor ourselves as a family. And we learn to connect, we learn to look at each other in the eye, we learn to listen, we learn to problem solve together, and we learn to not be reactive, because this is the place where you ground your child and you ground yourself. It is where you build your family culture that's unique to you. So 6 is the structure of a family meeting is fairly disciplined, right? As I said earlier, this is like the most important meeting you're going to have, and the most important person you're going to be talking to and listening to. So think about who that person is in your life besides your child. Who do you want to impress? Who do you want to think that you've got your act together, right? That's really what's going on in a family meeting. You want your child to think you have your act together. And maybe you don't have your act together. For 20 minutes, you have your act together. And that's powerful, right? For those 20 minutes, your child is seeing that you have your act together. And in that structure, your child and you, goes both ways, feels safe, validated, and there is a consistency in the structure that both you and your child rely on. And so your child and you, it's your go-to place. It's your go-to place to anchor and to problem solve and to connect. So the 8th or 7th, whatever, the powerful thing about family meetings that is actually critical to your child, it's critical for your child's emotional growth, but it's also going to be critical for you as a parent to have this information, is to actually surface what's really going on with your child. So all behavior is communication of unmet needs. So behavior is the only way a child has to express something that's bothering them. But when you sit and listen to your child and you're not reacting, your child starts to feel safe to explore more and express more. And that's sort of the surfacing of what's really going on beneath the surface. And that is so important. And I just saw Little Women a couple of days ago. And there was a scene, if you haven't seen it, you should go see it. It's great. It's a good movie. But there's one scene in Marnie, the mother, there's one scene when Jo is just flipping out and very upset. And Marnie is not trying to fix it. She's just sitting there listening. And so you watch Jo sort of emotional, her emotionality rises very high, and she's saying things that obviously any parent would upset any parent. But Marnie just listens. And that is a powerful way to parent, right? Not to believe everything that comes out of your child's mouth. And then when Jo started going back down right, started leveling out, she started saying things that were actually true, right? Actually, what's really going on beneath the surface. And then, so the other thing that's so important about number 9, I think I'm missing one, but anyway, my number 9 is leadership. A lot of parents feel that they're not in control. They don't feel like they're good leaders. They don't feel like they're in charge. That's what reactivity does to us. When we react, we feel out of control. We feel like we're not anchored in ourselves. So practicing your leadership in a family meeting is super important. I mean, you can't do anything. You think about it in your head, but then you actually have to practice it. Like if I want to be a swimmer, I can think about swimming a lot. Like, that's cool. I'm going to go in that pool over there. I actually saw a man, I don't know, in his 30s recently learning how to swim. And I thought, wow, that's cool. He's getting in the water and he's learning how to swim. That's really, really good. He will get there if he keeps doing it, right? And you will get there. Your confidence level will rise. You will become a better parent leader. You will become less reactive if you practice it. So where do you practice it? Where do you practice it where it's measurable? It's measurable in the family meeting. So in the family meeting, you get to practice non-reactivity, you get to practice leadership, you get to practice listening, and you get to practice collaboration and connection. So for 20 minutes. So that's all that's being asked of you. But if anything comes up in the first 4 minutes, you get to practice stopping the meeting and saying, I need a break. And then you get to practice walking away, and then you get to practice coming back, right? And lastly, family meeting anchors everybody. It anchors the family system, it anchors the parent, and it anchors the child. Why? Because all your children want from you, two things. They want a lot of things, but the main things they want from you is connection. They want connection. They want to know that you're working. You will tear down walls. You'll break down any barrier. You'll do anything. All their behavior is a test. It's like, I'm testing you. Do you love me? Do you love me if I act this way? Will you still love me if I'm not good enough? Do you still love me if I, reject you? Yes, you will. You're going to love your child no matter what. And your child needs to know that. And they need to know that you can sit with them under any circumstance, any issue. So, I've worked with a lot of at-risk kids and their parents, and it's so amazing how parents realize how much their child needs them when their child's at highest risk, right? And they have to step into this leadership role, this better role. They were earlier before they would take what their child was saying personally, and they would feel rejected, and that created this divide between themselves and their child, which put their child at greater risk. So when a parent realizes, oh my gosh, all that stuff that my daughter or son was saying to me in their chaos, which was so hurtful, is not true. They need me. And when a parent feels needed, they step up. And I'm here to tell you, your child needs you right now, today, and needs you to step up and be a leader and not to believe everything that comes out of their mouth, right? And to stay anchored in yourself so you can be anchored for them. And that is the best parenting you can do for your child, is to take care of yourself first, anchor yourself, and practice leadership so you can anchor your child. And that's what the family meeting does. It is literally building the family culture. It's literally building who you are as a family system. It's literally building yourself up as a parent. It's strengthening muscles and core beliefs and self-esteem and awareness and connection, all the good stuff and all the bad stuff. It really just brings it all out and says, this is what we care about as a family, and we're going to invest in this. And when you do that, your child responds positively because that's what they want. They want you to invest in them. They want you to care about them. And they want you not to react, because when you react to them in a family meeting, you start lecturing and, getting on your podium, which is I did definitely. And probably still do sometimes. I have to really pull myself back. Your child says, oh, this is not about me, it's about them. And they start to pull back and they feel that disconnection. And in that disconnection, there's greater risk for them. And life becomes harder for them. And life becomes harder for you. Just remember what it was like for you when you were a kid. So that's it for now. I'm just going to get off here because I don't even know if this is recording. I'm hoping it is. This might just be a practice session. But I'm going to be on again later, and I'll make another announcement so you guys can be better prepared. Those are my 10 reasons off the cuff about why no conflict family meetings, the Parenting You First way, are so important. Just a quick reminder that this is the week of I'm sort of welcoming parents into the Parenting You First online community, which is not here. It's someplace else. It's on a platform called Mighty Networks. And you can hear me. Yay! That's a problem. Let me just turn that up. Decline that. And the Parenting You First online community is on another platform, and that's where I support you live, and that's where the No Conflict Family Meeting course is. And that's where we get into it more. And so, yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. That's awesome. Do you have a question before I get off? Were you able to listen to anything? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get on again in a few hours. I wanted to answer your questions, but I didn't give you any time to prepare for this. So, I'm just going to pause for a second and see if anybody wants to ask me a question. But what I'm really thrilled about is that you can hear me and you can see me and that I'm live. That works. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's it for today. That's it for now. I'm going to get on later. I'm going to be bombarding you a little bit for the next 48 hours because this is the very end of this launch, this little mini personal launch just to my Facebook group and my email list about the No Conflict Family Meeting, because you'd be the first official group coming in, and it's going to be a small group. It's going to be a lot of hands-on support, and the first 2 weeks are free. So consider it. I open it up every month, once a month. So if you don't want to do it this month and you're thinking about it more, there'll be more opportunities in the future. Okay. Nice to see you, and I will talk to you shortly. Okay, bye.